How can I facilitate internal transformation for this individual if we can't get to something tangible that actually matters? This client has a potential client, and this potential client came to them because they are in a new leadership role at a new organization, and they've got some consultant that's working for them to do certain work for them. And like all the tangible practical stuff is supposedly going to be done by this consultant. So they're really here to lead and hold the vision. And he's come to my client because he says he knows he is passive in his leadership and he wants to be more active. He wants to be more of a creator and less of a reactor. So my client's challenge with this potential client is that he has been trying to ground the deeper inner work that they're going to do in something practical in the business. But this gentleman, this leader, is resistant to getting to practicalities. He wants to have the deeper conversation about his way of being as a leader, the conceptual, the philosophical, the emotional piece of it. Doesn't want to get into the practicalities of it. My client's kind of saying that in order for us to really ground this work, we need to have it be connected to something in the material. So my hunch is in part that my client is doing this because through our work, he has learned that it's really powerful when we're doing deep inner work to help people to be able to ground it in the practical, because not everybody is ready to make a financial commitment to this kind of work just for the inside piece. They also need to see some kind of material result of it in order to left brain justify paying the money for the work. And so maybe that's going on. What I do want to say to that, just as a note, it's every rule has to have an exception to it. If that were the only thing, and there's more to it here, but if that were the only thing, I would be like, sweet, this person doesn't need something practical. It's not. But the only reason I was doing it is so I could ground it so that they would say yes to the work. And if somebody just wants to get more free and I can help them to get more free and they'll pay me to help to get more free and we have to worry about the practicals, then cool, let's do that. If that were the case, but it's not the case. There are other reasons. And this comes from my own self-creation. I know that if I just work on myself and my freedom as a concept and my feelings, that I can very easily kid myself as to how effective I'm being in creating progress. I can tell myself I'm feeling more free, and I may be feeling more free, but then when I put myself in the context of the practical that I don't want to think about, all of a sudden I'm not so free, and then I'm not taking different action, and I'm not producing different results. So the freedom, it's so easy to hide in your own story of personal growth when it's not somehow connected to the world in a way that's measurable and tangible and obvious. Right? This is one of the problems of the personal development industry. There's so much self-referential, masturbation and self-masturbation, mental masturbation. And people can spend years just doing work on themselves, but nothing's changing in their life because it's always looking down, looking in and looking down and not also looking out. So for me, the outside world, the action, the practical, measurable, tangible outcomes that are different is so important for me to not be lying to myself about the progress and the transformation that I'm actually creating. Okay. So when I come from that place, when I'm asking a person, I am asking them that question, not just to get them to be able to connect to the value of the work, but to get dug into something with them so that I know that we aren't lying to ourselves about their progress. And so when I know that's the reason, and I have somebody that's in resistance to talking about the tangible, and they only want to talk about the inner, I'm ready for that fight because I'm fighting for them. And it doesn't have to be a fight in the sense of we're actually arguing. It's no, dude, I don't actually care that much about your material outcomes, but what I care is that we're not lying to ourselves about the transformation you're experiencing. So what I want to know, what I want us to know, and then both of us need to know this because you don't know it either right now. What I want us to know is how are we going to know when you're actually becoming more of a creator and less of a reactor? What's it going to look like? What's going to be different in your day-to-day? Right? And so there's the actions that will be different, the behaviors that will be different. And as a result of that, some of the ways to know that the actions and behaviors are different on a qualitative enough level that it's substantial and meaningful is to know what are the difference in the results that those are producing. So I want to know what behaviors and actions would be different. And then I also want to know how substantial those will be when they're actually creating a material difference in outcome and results. How is your team performing differently when you're acting that way differently or behaving that way differently? What different results are you getting in your organization? What more money are you bringing in? And yeah, I am like a dog with a bone when it comes to these things with other people because I am with myself. But it's not really a fight in the sense where it's me versus you. It's actually me versus this story that you have for you. I want you to be a creator, not a reactor. And so let's actually get really fucking clear on what that's going to mean for you, what it looks like, how we're going to be able to see it, how the people around you are going to see it, how's your spouse going to know, right? We're here to not bullshit. And because I know that I can bullshit myself, I know that people can bullshit themselves, and I'm not going to let bullshit live in the world of our coaching relationship. So if you want to have a coaching relationship where we just bullshit, I know some coaches that you can probably hire for a lot of money, and you can just bullshit with them. If you don't want that, then let's have this conversation. Are you game? And so the energy and the ultimatum is really, it's coming from love and service and contribution. And again, it comes from the groundedness of my own knowing that that's the only way that I can know for sure that I am actually growing and that I'm not kidding myself. So when you ground in your own self-development and the reasons you're doing what you're doing are because that's what you do for yourself, nobody can stop you. Nobody's going to convince you otherwise that there's not a good reason to get to this. And you're not going to back down from standing for the importance of it. And they're going to feel that it's important, and they're not going to really fight you on it because they're going to feel that it's coming from a grounded place. There you go. Thanks for your questions. I love you. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now. As soon as I find the end button, it's got to be here somewhere.